Lattice, and Lattice acquired Mirametrix. So let me give a little background on this first. So first of all, there's a continuum of computing chips, right? You can have CPU, you can have GPU, you can have FPGA, and you can have an ASIC. And at one end, degree of difficulty to program is ASIC, and on the other end, the easiest to program, which is a CPU. But the challenge is you also have a sliding scale of battery life and how much energy. ASIC is the most energy efficient. CPU is the least energy efficient. And Lattice, in order to improve their time to market and really shrink that time for developers, is they've created stacks like Sense AI. So you add Sense AI plus one of Lattice's FPGAs, and you can essentially put that into vision systems, you can put into audio systems, you can put that into robots and not have to do that typical heavy lifting. And you can shave years off programmability compared to a fixed function ASIC. And this Lattice's acquisition of Mirametrix is another step in that direction. And essentially, so first of all, Mirametrix is a software company that leverages AI, and right now they're really focused on presence. A good example of that is on many Lenovo computers, you have a Mirametrix solution that, by the way, is running on the CPU and takes a bunch of battery life to be able to wake the system when it comes in, offers the ability if somebody is shoulder surfing, that's not your face, but running that on an FPGA takes it from watts to milliwatts, okay? And that's a huge deal. The other thing the other benefit of running this is if you are a PC maker and you want to have Intel, AMD, Qualcomm, and maybe in the future, NVIDIA, Samsung, or MediaTek, you only need one software solution stack, with a buck or two FPGA to limit the amount of development that you actually have to do. And guess what? Another benefit of the FPGA, if you want to reprogram it and have that connected to your camera to do some other things, or maybe even add a larger FPGA and do some tricks with your camera, you can. And instead of having 3 to 4 different solutions that you have to develop and support and improve, you only have one. So hats off to Lattice. They keep moving the ball down the court and reducing the amount of programmability it takes to do cool stuff with AI.
Yeah, Pat, this was a solid acquisition. It fits the direction that Lattice is trying to go in terms of being able to offer some very intelligent features that, a lot of people don't realize. Lattice works very closely in company with many of the larger, more well-known semiconductors to offer very specific security and capability features. In this case, I thought you had a great example in your Forbes article, but just talking about, like, I think you mentioned here, shoulder surfing, talking about the fact that we really haven't fully found the value in how we can use attention, everything from like a collaboration application to where, we want to better understand what are people really looking at when they're watching a conference, when a web conference online, Pat. And we all know that people turn on their machines and walk away. And this can give the capability for these software programs to better understand attention and focus. The other thing, of course, is security and safety. We know that visual hacking is one of the biggest risk factors for many people. We all think that it's sophisticated people, breaking into level 5 government agencies using Raspberry Pis like we saw in Mr. Robot. But the reality is they tend to be taking things written on sticky notes that we keep on our laptop or things that they're able to see over our shoulders. And that's how information becomes disseminated, especially in crowded public areas. And as mobility returns, risk profile for data theft becomes a bigger issue. So being able to instantly see, hey, this person's looking away, even as short as, hey, I'm turning my shoulder to the right to talk to the person sitting next to me. That person sitting on your other side could be staring at your screen, but when your eyes go off the screen for more than 3 seconds, it might darken the screen. And it's a more capable and competent technology than some of those visors, 3M technologies and stuff that people have to install and often don't use effectively. So interesting acquisition, Pat. I don't know what the price was for it, but I feel like it's probably very synergistic for Lattice, and it's going to be something we'll hear more about in the near future.